Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer, and this week on the show, I'm joined by Rahrah for a game of Shadow/Giant. Shadow/Giant is a duet role-playing game about finding care, safety, and family amidst a malicious and unaccepting world. In it, one player plays the Giant, a gruff, jaded adult who thought their care for the world was long gone, and the other plays the Shadow, a child with magical abilities who now relies on them for protection. Together you explore themes of care, duty, marginalization, harm, and chosen family as these two mismatched people try to rely on one another to get through obstacle after obstacle on their way to some kind of safety. This game is truly beautiful. I had a real magical time playing it. I think you're going to love the game that we made. You can find more information about Shadow/Giant at psychound.itch.io or check the show notes for more information. Rahrah is the creator and GM for The Heart is a Dungeon, a multi-award-winning TTRPG podcast focused on sad, emotional, powerful stories with majority BIPOC and femme-presenting casts. The Heart is a Dungeon is a show that embodies the best of what I think actual play can be. The stories that they tell, the emotional spaces they foster, the worlds they build through play, through sound design, through writing. I think the show is truly something special, and I think you would absolutely be doing yourself a disservice by not going to check it out. You can find more information about The Heart is a Dungeon at theheartisadungeon.card.co, or again, check the show notes for more information. Before we dive in, a few technical notes. First off, we have some new Patreon backers to thank. Thank you to Samuel Quinn Morris, Danny Mendoza, and James Carouse for your support of the show, for the podcast, the games, all of that good stuff. Patreon backers get access to cool bonus features like Party of 1+1, our sequel and bonus episode series, Batman Bump in the Night, which is the fan fiction podcast I produce with my good friend Marn, and other weird little projects I work on throughout the week. You can find more information about all of those things at patreon.com/JeffStormer. Secondly, as my birthday is come and gone, as is tradition, this is the end of our summer season. We're going to be taking a few weeks off from the show. We will have new episodes dropping every Sunday in the meantime. We've got some Party of One Says Go Birds live recordings, which is, of course, our monthly live show at Unity Java in Philadelphia. And we'll be back with regularly scheduled episodes September 14th when we kick off our autumn season with Apocalypse Keys with Kieran Gillen. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I was literally just saying before we got on mic how much I've been looking forward to this. I'm sitting down with Rahrah. Rahrah, thanks so much for coming on Party of One.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. It's great here in the studio. Very comfortable.
Thank you so much. I'm glad. We've done a lot of work to make it as comfortable an experience as possible. You know, it's almost like we're just relaxing in the comfort of our own homes. Real quick, before we dive in, before we talk about the game, why don't you let our lovely listeners at home know about anything you've got going on you might want them to know about?
Well, I run a small podcast called The Heart is a Dungeon that's focused on kind of very large casts, like 20, 30 people, and stories that are a little more emotionally heavy. You can tell most of us grew up with poetry books in our back pocket and then became faded out hipsters as time went on.
I love Heart is a Dungeon so much. Truly, like,
Thank you.
Having heard it, having really, like, absorbed it, it just, like, it's so much of, like, it combines so much of passion and ambition and play and, like, the emotion, all of these things that I think are really important to me that, like, seeing them thrive within that context is nothing less than magical.
It's been an amazing year and a half, and just met so many wonderful friends is like the best part, to be honest. It makes all those hours of sound editing easier.
It certainly does. I mean, there's a reason that we've been running for 10 years, and it's because the experience of, like, sitting down and getting to know people over the mic and getting to, like, share in this weird little experience that we thrive in, like, it has not lost any bit of its charm. For all of the exhausting parts of the work, of which there are many, like, when I sit down after we've done all of the things and I count us down from 3 and I give that one little, like, deep breath before jumping in, in that moment, I remember what it is, like, why we've been doing this for a decade.
Party of fun, am I right?
That's, you're goddamn right. Speaking of fun, we have got a game today that, like, I am excited about, a little nervous about, I think is going to be really wonderful. We are playing Shadow/Giant, a duet game by Luca Brave. I'm going to read this opening text because I think it's beautiful. It doesn't matter how you got here. Don't matter what the destination is. At some point, somehow, against the odds, Shadow felt safe with the giant. And the giant, though they might have sworn it off before, cares for the Shadow. There'll be threats, always will be, but maybe you can get through. Find safety, together, as long as it takes to get there. And through those long days, cold nights, the tears, the fears, the fighting, someone, somewhere, might just mistake you for a family. Well, wouldn't that be something? I'm so stoked for this game.
Gorgeous.
Truly, let me ask you, I sent a few different games your way. Like when we were talking about getting this, what is it about this game that jumped out to you? What is the thing you're most excited about playing today? Like what's on your mind? What are you bringing to the table as we're sitting down?
I love this game because I love playing games as they are, but I also love a good reskin.
I do.
And I saw this and I was like, you could do Gulliver's Travels with that. You could do all sorts of different dynamics with age and size being the variables. Love to play it as it is, but it just seemed like such an open canvas for storytelling.
It's really, there's really something here. And like, I've played Badger and Coyote. By the time this episode airs, you'll be able to hear it on the show. And like, that's a really like joyful game. And the fact that this game takes that story and that experience and that dynamic of these two characters with very complementary but different skill sets and experiences and pushes it into this really like intense, darker, emotional place is so thrilling. And it really does kind of have my brain spinning around all the different ways that like you can take these two, asymmetrical dynamics and weave all kinds of different partnerships and relationships.
Completely agree. It has all the right building blocks for like what you would need for a story of this size and like this type.
Yeah,
beautifully written too. You all can't see the book, but it is just it looks like a children's book or maybe like a modern fairy tale.
It's got this beautiful collage aesthetic and all like and like this handwritten font. It really evokes with this setting of, a giant, an older person with a complicated past taking someone younger and in danger under their wing. Like this sort of collage aesthetic really evokes this feeling of like a scrapbook assembled out of necessity on a travel from place to place that like really just like gets you into this mindset of we're scrabbling things together as we get by. And like it's got wheels turning for me from the moment that I start flipping through the pages.
The scrapbook on necessity is like the best description anyone could have come up with right now, to be honest.
I'm so excited. So we have a big decision to make, and we both, I think, expressed a degree of, I'm not sure which choice I want to make. One of us is going to play the giant, and one of us is going to play the shadow. Do you have a feeling that you're being pulled towards at this exact millisecond?
I tend to be pulled more towards characters like the giant because I love a good jaded heartbreak, and I'm not so good of an actor that innocence I can pull off sometimes.
I feel like innocence is more of my comfort zone. So like, why don't we slot that in where I'll play the shadow, you play the giant.
Perfect.
Okay. Do you want to read the opening or the text for Giant on page 11, that opening paragraph, and then I'll read for the shadow?
Your job, Giant, is to look after your shadow and keep them safe. You're the grown-up here, so use those skills to do what grown-ups do. Talk your way out of situations and fight if you can't. Protect that little creature and comfort them when things get scary. You're both trying to get somewhere safer. Somewhere you can just live and take a breather, so sometimes you may need to investigate things to figure out just how to do that. You're the one in charge. Keep that head on your shoulders.
The voice really got me. The voice popped me pretty good. Oh, little shadow, all you need to do is keep yourself and your guardian out of trouble and keep that spirit about you on this long journey. I won't say your magic ain't never useful. Sometimes you may be able to divine an answer, conjure up some sort of crafty solution, or manipulate a situation to your advantage. But truth be told, your giant needs you as much as you need them. You might have to persuade them to listen to you or comfort them when things get a little bit much. The giant thinks they're in charge, but y'all are a team. Make sure your voice gets heard in whatever form that takes. Great. Good. Okay. So we've got to decide now that we know who our characters are going to be, we need to decide the world that we're in and flesh out the scenario that we're staring down. There are a few seeds here in the book for a dystopian story, a fantasy, a sci-fi, a paranormal. Does one of these jump out, or do you want to throw something into an entirely different kind of genre?
I think modern dystopian could be pretty good.
Modern dystopian
this
feels
almost
pretty
seems
good.
like it was designed with that very specifically in mind.
Yeah, that feels good. It's the near future. Society is partially collapsed due to a disaster. The Shadow's powers have something to do with the disaster, though you may not know exactly what that connection is just yet. You've heard there's a safe haven on the other side of the country, somewhere peaceful. If only you can get there in one piece. If people find out who the Shadow is, it could spell disaster. I like that. I'm really into that. That feels very natural.
Who could imagine dystopia?
Yeah, right. I don't know. Things have been so good lately that indulging in a little dystopia might be really a change of pace. So we've got some questions for the world. What time period does our story take place in? Are we picturing modern? Are we picturing sort of a little more retro modern? What's your visual reference point?
Modern, but people are having to repair things rather than replace them a lot.
That feels okay. Yep. I like the aesthetic a lot. I think Station 11 did played with this space, and the space of seeing very modern infrastructure break and break down is very compelling to me as a visual aesthetic. A little bit sort of a more modern take on a Tales from the Flood kind of.
Absolutely.
When you seeing rust on hyper modern architecture is very captivating to me.
It's one of the reasons why Our Brilliant Ruin is a setting that I get in my mind a lot. I just think about that place quite a bit.
Where did the Shadow get their powers? Which I think is a good big question of what is the power set or the thing that we're playing with? What's captivating?
Now, how micro or macro do we want to get? Is it more metaphorical, like the shadows are here because people stopped believing in their dreams? Or is it somebody opened the wrong Go-Gurt during an eclipse and everything changed?
That's a really great... The phrase people stop believing in their dreams is so compelling, and I go to making that very metaphorical idea hyper literal, which is dream beings started popping up. My visual, I've now got a visuals really starting to take shape, which is half 11 from Stranger Things and half a Freddy Krueger kind of vibe of the dreams have now bled into the world.
If a dream's not believed in, it becomes hostile over time.
And at a certain point, it starts just they start bleeding. The veil starts to thin, and there are beings from the dream space that cat, overexcited cat.
It's one of those beings from the dream space.
There it is. That's what happens when the dream space gets too excited. The idea that there are it's somewhere between a nymph or a fae or something of a dream being, a dream weaver of being the Shadow as represented by the all-consuming chaos of the subconscious is fucking rad, is the words I would use.
And maybe for some reason, it's not even a mystical thing of why you've been chosen, but you can just still believe in dreams. Also,
yeah, of course.
For some reason, that's not as common with all shadows or younger people, but for some reason it is with you. Yeah,
I like that. I really like that. And there's a very clear, almost, it's sort of a tragic, very dramatic play on almost a like a Polar Express kind of vibe, right? It's this almost this idea of like this optimism, this youthful energy, like to walk in the dream realm or to like embody or to see the dream realm or to see the veil or to be connected to it. You've got to hold on to a kind of idealism that is sort of rapidly drained, especially because, well, this actually draws on our next question in a very big way of like, is the public aware that powers like this exist? And why would people be upset if they knew about the shadow?
My first my first instinct would be that the public doesn't know about it, just because then the story would be more micro on the two characters and not as much the people around them.
Sure.
But maybe they wouldn't like it because it's just that metaphorical challenge. Just because you gave up on your dreams doesn't mean everyone has to.
And it almost is like there's almost a visceral kind of if we're envisioning this like dream space as like a metaphysical kind of essence of creation, right? That is tied to because I believe in the things that I dream and thus I can reach into a space and make dreams real. The second that you learn that that was a thing, like there's almost a visceral like, well, I want that and I want you to get something. The idea that people that there's that pull of like, well, I want that. I'm mad because you have the access to this thing that I apparently lost without realizing it is heartbreaking and terrifying and compelling all at the same time.
I could see a vague government force being a threat because people are easier to control when they don't dream.
Yeah. That feels, I like that. That's good. Because in my mind, I immediately go to like the government wants to use this space, but like the government wants to shut it down strictly because we don't like the idea that people are dreaming in this way is rough, but the good kind of rough. So what's the safe space that we've heard of and what makes it safe? I feel like it's got to be a place where this dream energy or this dreaming, so to speak, is within reach, right? Like, or is like it's got to be connected to this magic in some way, shape, or form.
There could be some sort of like haven of believers, something of the sort, where if we would reach, there's like safety and like open minds, or it could be something as more micro as like a secluded cabin we know we can hide in safely and begin reaching out to the communities around there. But it feels like there should be some sort of outreach built into the shadow because they don't want to keep it to themselves.
Yeah, I think like I feel like the what's pulling me is I love the idea of like a communal space. And I like the idea of but to both at the same times it a little bit. The idea that communal space looks like a cabin in the woods. Because what that implies is that there's nothing that says that this communal space is happening here on the physical earth.
True. Like,
there's not like the idea that you can get to a safe place and reach out into the dreaming. Like that's that. And that just has to be a place that is secluded and quiet enough where whatever reaches out from the other side, like reaches out safely. There's something real good there of like, we are just trying to find the place where we can be alone and not either put anyone in danger or put ourselves in danger by like reaching out and touching this thing on the other side.
It's always easier to dream when you don't feel constantly threatened.
Yeah. That's really good. What a good turn of phrase. It's almost like we both grew up with poetry books in our back pockets. Who or what might stop us from getting there?
My first like GM jump would be, well, ourselves, obviously.
Sure.
But besides that, You know, there's the classic, like, just with items and resources being low, there's always like the bandit types or the pirates of the meadows or wherever we are. But there's also the people needing things out of legitimate need, not just wanting to steal.
Yeah.
So there's some fun, like, gray areas there when, like, a dad's robbing you because his kids need it. Like, is he a monster?
Yeah. I really like playing in that space. I really like playing in that ambiguity. That feels really great. This is good. This is a good setting. I'm excited. Cool. So we've got an idea of our characters. Now we're going to go through our character sheets a little bit. So each of us has a slightly different way of interacting with the world. It's an asymmetrical design, which I really love. The giant has a list of skills and traits that you're going to use to build dice pools whenever we're like attempting a risky action. Meanwhile, I, as the shadow, am going to pick a skill that pushes me towards either eerie or soft. And then when I am attempting an action, I am deciding which of those qualities I'm more embodying and trying to roll, is it under or trying to roll to like, against that number specifically. And then as I roll, it'll push me towards one of those two possibilities, which might take me over.
Cool.
So do you have an idea on like the visual name pronouns? Like, has a character starting to take shape?
I definitely think so. I think his name's Jericho. Older Latino figure, salt and peppered hair, tired from like a manual labor most of his life, like carpentry, things like that. I don't think he has the backstory of having lost. I think he has the backstory of never having been brave enough to have.
That's so fucking good.
And like, this is his last chance. Like, maybe I can force a dream if I can't just find one.
Oh, that's great. I'm getting there are certain aesthetics that we always as people come back to, and the aesthetic that like I know I'm coming back to is iridescent rainbow skin. That's the vibe that I'm pulling towards. I'm gonna go with I did a Google search for dream terms and realized that the name Circadian is a really great name for like a mysterious sort of
That's a wonderful name.
It's a great name. And so Circadian is like a child that was pulled towards the other side and sort of held on to that energy and held on to that place that called out to I'm gonna go they them pronouns, held out to them and like held on to that space and allowed it to change them and allowed the space to be changed in turn, I think. And so they embody this magical place, this place of dreams, this place of belief in a much more physical way than I think is apparent to a lot of other people.
Cool.
Great. Okay. So we've got an idea of our characters. We've got an idea of our relationship. We've got an idea of the world that we inhabit, which means it's time for us to like play through a scenario, play through a chapter in our story. Which means we're going to set a goal and then define some scenes en route to making that goal.
Amazing. How many scenes do you think we'll get through so we can kind of plan out the kind of the frog leap goal, the extended one?
I'm picturing, that's a great question. Like, I'm saying if we're thinking about a goal, maybe we break it into, do we think 3 or 5 feels achievable? I feel like something in that range feels, either of those feels achievable in like an hour.
I think we could do both. 3 would have like more spotlight time per scene, but 5 would present like kind of a broader story. So I'm down to rock with both. We could roll a die.
Let's roll a die. Highs 5, lows 3.
What a sentence.
That's a 3, which means we're going to have 3 spotlight scenes.
Deal.
3 big challenges. What's the goal that we are trying? I don't know that we're going to see the entire story. I don't know that we're going to see us get to that cabin off on the other side of the country, but like, what are we chasing? What's the thing we're chasing right now?
Ooh, right at the beginning.
Well, and I think that's actually a really good question to decide on, is like, is this the beginning of our story, or are we jumping in with these characters sort of in the middle of their trek?
What if this is not tone really included as much as setting, but what if this is the moment where we're kind of going to finally get out of urban sprawl and begin to be able to head to wherever we're trying to head, like more open roads and things like that?
Oh, I really like that.
Where before it was maybe a lot more violent and like there was a lot more need in the densely populated places.
Yeah. This is us getting away from the city and like seeing a different... which brings up a very compelling fact, which, I mean, that adds a detail that I think is rich, which is like, and I think it's the question that I would throw maybe to Jericho is like, are you someone from the city? Like, what that tells me is that I think Circadian is capital letters from the city. I think they've grown up here. Like they were raised here from young childhood, and when things started to occur, like, this is kind of everything they've ever known.
I think Jericho is a little more of, I didn't move this to the city moved to me. So not like a big time, outdoorsy survival person, but lived a little ways away and had kind of like a small business type of deal in a community. And then over like a decade, he just found himself in the middle of like urban sprawl.
Oh, that's really, really great. That's such a good dynamic and energy. And so, like, you knew this city when it was something different, or when it wasn't a city at all. And like, I've kind of only known it at its most sprawling and colossal. And so this is, the idea that this is the moment that, like, this is Circadian's like first time leaving the city proper and seeing that there is a world outside of that is so beautiful and kind of and sad at the same time. This is exciting. This is good. We're getting into the good stuff already, and I'm excited.
What a great little system.
I'm so the building of questions and everything. Like, I feel like we haven't even staged our first scene yet, and already I feel like we've like locked in on something so real and so compelling. Okay, great. So what's our goal within this? We've got kind of a tone. We've got kind of a setup. What's the thing that we're looking for at this moment?
Maybe this first one is to finally get out of the sprawl. Like, we're at the edge of it. We're finally about to maybe cross a river, something like that. Maybe there's a large bridge, and we know that's like the end of this chapter. The one that we've been kind of working for.
I'm gonna throw in second you said bridge and river, like my brain started going, and I'm gonna throw in, I think it's maybe not our final safe house, but there is like a safe place that we are getting towards. There is specifically we are crossing a river to get to a river boat that is like on the other side, like docked on the other side, that will like carry us to our next destiny, our next stop along the journey.
Maybe like, it's someone that I used to know. And they still live on the edge of the city, where the city already overtook where I was.
Oh, that's really great. Let me throw this to you then. Like, I think I'm going to throw you 2 options, because there's 2 visions in my head of like what this boat can look like that we're heading towards. And either one tells us a lot about the person that runs it. The 2 boats that I have in my head, and you choose which one of these feels more compelling, are riverboat, gambling boat, or houseboat. Those are the 2 things that I'm being pulled towards.
I really like houseboat, and I also like not knowing if the friend's there.
That's fucking good. That's fucking okay. Yeah, so we're trying to cross this river because there's a houseboat on the other side, and there is someone who, if they're home, can guide us to a destination. If they're not home, we're faced with the very real choice of, do we take this boat anyway?
When the phone still worked, they told me they would be there.
Okay. Yeah, great, good. Okay, fantastic. What is our first challenge? Is there a bridge that we need to get to? Is it navigating one final section of the city? Like, what's the first big thing in our way?
The bridge ends up being destroyed already.
Mm-hmm.
So the river becomes the first thing. Okay.
So we open the two of us standing, visual is the two of us standing at the base of this ruined bridge that has collapsed into the river.
Mm-hmm.
In this sort of like large urban kind of like river bay area, almost a little touristy, but now like, the plants are overgrown and the walkways are cracked and shattered, and like we are standing here looking at what was once a bridge.
And like the cinematic movie poster would be us in the middle, with to the left being all urban and the right being all trees.
Yep.
And we're just right there on the border.
And of course, and the sky is purple and miscolored to give that like dream aesthetic.
If only the end of the world was so pretty.
Right? So we're staring at this bridge. We've made it here. Maybe we've gotten past something. Maybe like there was something that we had to like get past or sneak past or run past. And so like we knew that this bridge was going to be the thing we would have to cross, but it was like already a challenge to get here. So we first see our two characters like maybe sneaking through kind of a row of hedges or like a row of overgrown shrubs and brush. There is thrown an immediate threat on the table to up this, like behind us in the distance, we can see like a drone floating in the sky.
Cool. Yeah.
Searching ominously, and like we have snuck through some bushes and brush to get to this moment. And with this drone still looming behind us, we are looking out over this bridge. What is Jericho doing? What is Jericho thinking? Where's Jericho at?
Jericho is hoping that the militias and the drones find each other so that they can get a breather in this moment. Now that they've made it through the checkpoints and you can finally start to see the horizon, it's almost take account of the travel here too. Is anyone hurt? Has anyone been scratched or cut while we were crawling, while we were running? And I think he would look you over without saying anything, but checking to see anything visible to make sure you're all right while they have this second.
I am immediately going for a roll.
Perfect.
Because I think, and so to describe the shadow a little bit, Circadian, I'm choosing a skill number between 2 and 5. This is very much in the honey heist, lasers and feelings style. The lower the number, the better you are at being eerie, stronger in magical abilities. The higher the number, the better you are at being a kid. I'm choosing a 3. I think I am pulled towards, at this point, Circadian has already sort of embraced the dream space. And I'm going to roll here an eerie roll, so I have to roll a 3 or above, because I think, like, sensing that hope from Jericho, I think that Circadian wants to try and manipulate things in the dream space to make that situation come to light. Oh, and that's a 6. That's exactly what we want to happen. Which is probably a plus and a minus at the same time. Like, I think that there's like a moment of maybe it's us talking. Maybe Jericho says that sentence out loud, and Circadian like narrows their eyes a little bit and smiles and like there's a posture change, I think, when Circadian has reached out to the dreaming. You've probably seen this before. How does Jericho react with, like, it's that kind of like popping up a little bit of like, done. Like, how does Jericho react when he sees that body language from Circadian, especially when they haven't said what they're doing? I don't think they communicate that very often now. What's Jericho's reaction to seeing that body language?
Well, my mom used to pray a lot, so I can always recognize when something turns holy. So in this moment, I think I'd also like to roll, using my protect skill and my caring trait. I will look around and just watch over them while they're in this kind of vulnerable state, as I hope they would do for me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that means that you are going to be rolling 3d6.
Is it? Oh, you start with one and then add.
You start with one. Start with one. Add 1d6 for a skill, add 1d6 for a trait, and 1d6 for the shadows help, which you don't have at this moment.
All right. The highest is a 5.
Okay, a minor complication. Perfect. I think I know what I want that complication to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're going to get what you want as Circadian like pops up a big smile on their face. But I think that because they're a kid who doesn't really understand the logistics of what they've kind of willed into being, now there's like, we are very close to a like gunfight between a militia and some flying drones.
Oh, quick, lay down.
Huh? What? Huh? Is everything is everything okay? I wanted to help.
Look out there. It's like a movie if we watch it from here. If you put your hands like this is how the old theaters used to be, kinda.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
All right, do you think we could should we make our way while they're distracted, or do you think we should just wait for them to leave?
I think that's a call that you have to make specifically because of what you just said to Circadian. Like, they are engrossed in watching this. Like, you've very, very successfully given them a safe emotional remove from sort of the very scary thing that's happening. Like, they're, keyed into this, but that means that like any talking or thinking you're doing is doing it to yourself under your breath.
I think Jericho would pull out a little bit of water they have, maybe like a granola bar, something of that sort, going without himself, and would hand it to the shadow. And while they're kind of munching and watching a movie, Jericho would pull out their old map while laying there on their stomach on the bridge. And ignoring all the little old fishing spots that were more vacation destinations years ago, we'll just follow the road to where he knows they're trying to get.
This feels like another roll to get us over this challenge, especially now that we know that the bridge isn't here. This feels like I'm going to say this is probably I'd say this is at least a 2d6, but I could see an argument for maybe careful if you wanted to take it.
I think 2d6 is fair on this. Just an investigate.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's better. That's a 6 and a 5.
We'll take it. There's absolutely a pathway. There is sort of what does the pathway look like if we can get there, without being seen? Maybe that's the final challenge of this scene. What is the there's a pathway that can get us over the bridge or like across the bridge.
I think in that way where an adult can just talk to someone younger without them really paying all the attention that they want. He's like, well, if we go down here, there used to be a way we could just walk over. There were stones where you could skip. The fly fishing was great. My brother and I used to go there sometimes, but we used to be able to jump across if we didn't have a boat or something. So we could probably make it there. Do you feel like you could jump pretty far?
Having already rolled onto their back and looking upside down at the gunfight in front of them, Circadian rolls back, head in hands, curls their knees under their stomach, and then with a kind of agility that a child can have, that 37-year-old Jeff hears and goes, "Hoo boy," like sprint, like frog springs up to their feet. It's like, yeah, jumping. I love to jump.
Perfect. You'll love this. I remember there being moss and like little pools where the fish would get caught on the side, and there's all these reeds that would go in the wind. Oh, you'll love it. I can't wait to show you. And he realizes he's being a little too excited, more excited than he likes to be.
I think like we're having this conversation as we're kind of like creeping through the brush and making our way towards this thing. And I think Circadian, like, as they're walking, kind of mutters, like, if we find a frog, can I keep the frog?
One. You can keep one frog.
One frog. Okay.
Right, but you got to be nice to it, though.
I got to be nice. Got to find the coolest frog. Got to be nice to it. Coolest frog. Got to be nice to it. Can't just be any frog. It's going to be one frog.
And hopefully we'll be on the river for a while once we get to where we're going, so he won't dry out or anything like that.
Yeah, I will take the best care of this frog.
Sometimes those with dreams need to love something because it helps teach them how to be gentle with so much power. At least that's what my mom used to tell me.
Circadian has, as we're both creeping as we get closer to these stones, Circadian like hears you kind of waxing poetic, and in the way that kids are very wont to do, like immediately tunes out the second that like a lesson starts coming explicit of like, you're doing your thing again.
Yeah, she'd always tie it into horse riding somehow, but I don't know. I never really got too into horse. Yeah.
Cool frog. Cool. And like, cool frog. Cool frog. I'm glad we did fewer scenes because getting to play in this dynamic is so satisfying. Yeah, I mean, I guess the final challenge is for us to skip these stones and for us to kind of skip across.
I think when they reach that point where they can see basically the rocks just slightly under the surface where a boat might miss them, but you can see them from the shore. He'll actually look at who he calls Circa. I'm like, did anyone ever take you to a river before? Have you ever like seen the ocean or a lake or anything?
I've seen him on TV. I mean, and we've walked along the river a couple times. This is definitely the closest I've ever been. It's big.
We got to get you to the ocean. It's the place for dreamers. It always has been.
Is it bigger than this? Because this is big.
It's bigger than anything except for you, my friend.
It might be too big. This is pretty big. And they're going to kind of like step back.
Do you know how to swim?
They kind of step back and they've like kind of visibly shrinking a little bit. Like they've had this very rambunctious energy and they kind of, I'm going to roll another eerie roll.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they rear back and they kind of shake their head ever so subtly to be like, no, I don't know how to swim. And that's a 4. But as they're doing that, those stones that were slightly beneath the surface start to like rise up and sort of like waver, not just on the water, but slightly above it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wobbly. Like it's definitely not the easiest walk, but like you can see that they're kind of holding in place. And as that happens, Circa's body language mellows a little. And they're like, look, that's not bad. That's just walking on rocks.
We can walk all rocks all day. This doesn't watch. I can dance a little on this rock. Look at me. Look at me.
You're weird.
We're gonna have to teach you how to swim before we're at the boathouse.
As they're kind of like skipping across these rocks. Is it hard?
Not if you dream about it.
I am good at dreaming.
You are. Watch this jump.
Whoa! I love this. And so, yeah, we sneak across the river. There's a firefight happening in the distance. Wonderful. I love this dynamic. I'm so thrilled by this dynamic, and I also love the sort of, there's a joy between us that is really wonderful for how, like, even being confronted by like the dark parts of the world, like, that I think like is a very good thread to continue to pull on.
Oh, I've met some older people whose life became more beautiful as they got older for some reason, and they were just some of the most excited people.
That's
so
wonderful.
I'm kind of picturing that for him. This is his chance to, be joyful.
This is the chance that he's never given himself before. And like, for someone whose entire thing is like, I have to hold on to the idea, like, even if they're not thinking in those terms, like, it's wonderful to see, like, opening up that kind of space for be a rambunctious dreamer specifically. What's the next? I think the next challenge is like, we're on the other side of this river. But that means that we are far off from where these docks are supposed to be. And we have to like kind of maybe climb some fences and make sure that we're not seen. Or if we are seen, like, get help in like getting past the sort of like urban walkway, waterfront touristy part of this bridge area into kind of like the wooded industrial docks kind of area, which will take us maybe to where this houseboat is docked way out past sort of the limits of the city a little bit.
And it's always that choice between easier to travel, but we're visible on the road, or a more difficult path, but we're off in like the bushes.
Yeah. Circa is like fully hiding in a bush, peeking out, and doing the very kind of like playful Scooby-Doo thing. And I think like is doing that while Jericho just makes that like weighs those options. I think that we see figures like shadowed and obscured in the sort of like haze of the humidity of where we're at, off on the, like, there's a roadway where we could take, but there are figures on that road, or there are fences and rocky paths and wooded areas that we could kind of traverse through and not be among people.
And even with all that happening, I think Jericho would still like to roll an investigate and carry to try to find a frog.
For sure. Oh, yes. Fuck yes. Good. I'm going to say take an extra D6 for help, because I think that good. Like,
I'll need it actually.
I think that Circa like picks up on that and starts kind of scanning the bushes.
The best I got out of 4 die was a 4.
A 4 gives us, I think, a minor complication. We get a frog. It's a great frog.
Oh, a great frog.
But somebody up a hill, like a rocky hill on the other side of a fence, has decidedly seen both of us.
Has Circa noticed that we've been seen?
I don't think so. I think because the frog is here, I don't think so in a heartbeat. I think Circa's off in their own world.
If this is doable, I think Jericho would just hold up the frog and be like, Circa, you got to catch me. And then we'll just start booking it in the other direction.
Fuck yes. Yes. Extremely. Yeah. Extremely doable. Give me a roll for this.
I could see comfort maybe as the skill.
I could see comfort.
Just because he doesn't want him to see a threat if he doesn't have. Well, he doesn't want them to see a threat if they don't have to.
I could see the shadows help, because I think they're running at full speed to cool. This is such play. And then I could also see either careful or caring here.
Beautiful. A 6 and 2 1s. So I think while running, Jericho's thinking about a cabin, somewhere they can get where Circa can dream safely. And he's imagining this is a smaller version of that, running, pretending to be lighthearted just to avoid another danger or the exposure to it. And I think in those moments, he's proud of himself, but also a little terrified.
For sure. Oh, and I think I think I gotta roll this.
Yeah, try to keep up.
I don't even think this is trying to keep up. I think that there's magic happening, but it's gonna be a soft roll specifically.
Cheater.
Yeah, that's a failure. I think like what has happened is, in that way, the second that you start envisioning that cabin and start like imagining, you start dreaming and Circa being so close to you and in this space of like, we've opened up this space of comfort and play so much that I think Circa like sees that taking shape. And I want to roll to like use that to infuse the space that we're in almost unconsciously.
Very cool.
But in doing so, I rolled a 6, which is not under my soft roll. Being that I'm much closer to eerie means that doing like things like persuading and comforting is much more difficult. So I have failed, which means I have to decide, does a complication occur, or do I move closer to eerie?
Ooh, cool stat.
I don't want to move. I'm going to have a complication occur, which is like, it's got to be that's the thing that backfire. Like, it's not enough that we're spotted. Like, I think that being spotted escalates in a very big way because something magical occurs, like something like from the dream space gets made, and it like undeniable, like anybody that was looking at us from nearby now sees that like something all around us, all on the like gravel and industrial waste and trash and litter and rocks, all of it is like getting grown over by plants and flowers and lush kind of like cabin-esque greenery is overtaking everything around us. And I think, Jericho, you don't notice that that's happening for a moment too long before like too much of the space has become lush and green. How do you react when you notice that this has been that we've collectively let our guard down and this has been happening in an unmistakable and ignorable kind of way?
I think his eyes first go up because of drones, and a vibrant patch of green appearing out of nowhere is almost worse than anything could be out here if you were watching from the sky. So reawakening that ancient skill he didn't have to use ever since he was an older brother when he was quite young, he reaches out to try to protect Circa from a nightmare when a dream goes wrong. But he's unable to reach just because of these vines and the bushes. And I don't think it's really causing physical like wounding of any sort as much as there's a distance between them that they can't just push through. And he's like, Circa, you have to be careful. Dreamers always get lost in gardens.
Huh? What? No, what? Oh no. We're, oh no. Oh, and like, is, I think visibly, like, I think they haven't realized that they were in a garden. Like they were in like a junk heap and now they're in a garden. And like, as someone in the distance jumps a fence and starts like walking towards us, they have frozen up, I think is the thing, is like, because now they're like, oh, I'm gonna get lost in a garden, but there's garden all around me and I don't know where I'm gonna go, which means that I'm gonna get lost. I'm about to get lost. I can't get lost. I need Jericho to help me get where I'm going, and I'm gonna get lost, and oh no. So they're freezing in place. This person is coming closer to us. You can now make out that they're like I don't know, what's the person what person comes to mind immediately? Give me a visual description of the first person that pops in your head.
They're like a trapper. They're out here like checking like hunting trails and things like that. Not sure about their demeanor. That's the neutral part. But
Yeah.
I think Jericho's kind of main focus is going to be to try to even toss the frog to Circa and get it out of his hands, but also hoping it helps.
That's fantastic. I think like Circa leaps up, catches the frog. I don't think there's a roll for that. Catches the frog and like ducks down a little bit and kind of like rolls into a ball a little bit, like tumbling with the frog as this trapper, big like camouflage vest, jean shirt, denim shirt, thick kind of thick like Dickies pants. Comes like inching closer, obvious big combat boots, comes like walking closer and finally like gets up to you.
We're stuck in some weird plants over here. You got any hedge trimmers or anything on you, like a knife?
I think that's a roll. This feels like a great talk roll.
Yeah, I want to find out if this one has a knife.
So that's 2d6 plus.
I could see careful, but he's not being careful about it. He's just being very upfront about asking. So
I would say that's blunt at that point. I think you're being very open.
Okay, my first fail, that's a 2. I have a 1, and a 2.
Oh, great, good. Major complication. Something detrimental, dangerous, or deadly happens. What does that look like?
Do I have a gun?
I think that's a call for you.
It seems like they would have left with one, but that doesn't mean he was able to keep it. Do you want to roll a d6 and let me know if it's a gun or not? Even is gun, odd is not.
That's a gun.
All right. Well, knowing I have it, it's not like a quick reach. He's just a little more confident in his addressing. Do you know the way through this? I don't remember it last time I was here.
Trapper looks around and just kind of like jabs at the grass with his foot. This isn't usually a place for greenery. Usually it's more for scraping bugs and shrimp out of a crab trap.
Oh, well, maybe things are getting better all over the place.
He kind of like, I think keeps looming forward a little bit. And like, that's when you notice the like hunting knife on his belt as he's leaning forward. I wonder what else could make this place better.
You know, a pathway would be pretty good. I mean, just coming right through here could really invigorate some tourists again. Maybe like some froyo, something like that. I'll pull out a gun.
All right, great. This is absolutely a fight roll. This is absolutely 2d6. This is 2d6. You can decide if you're using a trait or not. At least 2d6 here.
I think I'm just gonna go with the 2d6.
Okay.
Okay, a 4 and a 5, and I don't think he even shoots right away. I think it's more of a, drawing it before this guy can possibly draw a hidden one type of thing.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to need you to just stop moving towards us if that's okay. Just being cautious.
I know the exact minor complication. I know precisely what it is. 2 steps back, bursts off running, screaming at the top of his lungs, like, somebody's dreaming over here. We got a dreamer over here, and like running full speed.
I'm going to shoot him in the back.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Is that the same roll again, probably?
Yep, I think so.
Actually, I think I could add a blunt to this.
I could add blunt for sure.
He's just like going to sigh and shoot. All right, that'll work. A 6 and 2 ones.
Gunshot goes off, and I think the final beat of that scene is Circa is just like watching. Circa's watching, holding the frog, and is just like holding back tears.
Sorry about that, Circa. He was going to take your frog away. And, we can't really have that, can we?
He was going to take my frog?
Yeah, he's like a frog hunter. Do you see his outfit? He just hunts frogs and sells them, so we should probably get going pretty quick so we can protect our friend.
I don't like frog hunters.
Yeah, they're the worst.
This is my frog. We found this frog.
We should probably name it.
They kind of spit at the ground in the trapper's general direction. This is Mr. Wart. I read that frogs give you warts. This is Mr. Wart.
I mean, that's a great name. I think he'll just get along with it swimmingly. Probably find it to be pretty fly.
You're weird.
I think Jericho's resisting the urge to go search the body because he doesn't want to enforce the idea of violence and looting and everything in this place. But one of his hands is like shaking, and he's kind of just keeping it like behind his back, having not done that for a long time and never in the back.
Yeah, for sure. Which means I think we get to our final scene, which is us at the houseboat, where we get to find out if our friend is here or if the houseboat is abandoned.
Perfect.
What's the visual detail that is of the dock or harbor or creek side where this houseboat is being kept?
There's maybe like a public dock not too far from this place, but it would be more of like you drive like a golf cart versus just walking, so a little bit of distance. And it's kind of tucked away in like a cove where there's some large willow trees that kind of block the path forward or the sight line. So the boat is kind of hidden in some reeds, and behind it, if you look close enough, there's this small like fishing, not cabin. It's made out of a lot of sheet metal and things like that with like a small dock. Sturdy, but not like weatherproof or anything like that.
Fantastic.
And looks ignored, I think, too, as they're getting closer.
Cool. Great. Good. And what that tells me, I think that the thing that we face is, if it's looking, I think it looks abandoned. I think, still very, very scared, I think. I can roll here. I can make a roll here. There's an eerie roll to be made here.
Yes.
I'm looking at my skills and remembering there's a very good eerie roll to be done here. That's a 4. That's a success. It looks abandoned. But I think closing their eyes for a moment, kind of they whisper, she's inside and she's very, very tired.
Well, at least she's in there. All right, kid, let's huddle up. Come over here really quick. Come on, you know the huddle.
They've got Mr. Wart directly under their chin, also looking at you in the huddle.
Perfect. If you keep the frog like that, I mean, we'll get through this just fine. I don't know if my friend in there is going to be happy to see us or not happy to see us. So maybe let's not get too loud until we know if she's in a good mood. How's that sound?
One finger in front of the mouth. One finger in front of the mouth moves the finger in front of Mr. Wart's mouth, and just like does the thing of like, if I lower my neck beneath my shoulders, I'm hiding.
And I think just to push a roll, I think for talk and caring, he'll go on just a little bit longer. Like this person's had a hard time. They've lost their friends. They might be all alone out here. So like, let's try to be good to them and not just be quiet. Do you think maybe you could even dream for them? I mean, I might be getting ahead of myself, but this is important to me, kid.
And they kind of like clear a small space on the ground. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna make this roll. That's a 1, baby. Let's go. They close their eyes, and there's a thing that happens sometimes, not always. Like there are the moments where Circa closes their eyes and just kind of blinks and does the like squeezes and then pops. This is much different, and Circa starts to like be present, like physically, but starts to like almost dissolve and become misty and start to like drift on the breeze and starts to like float and become dust on the wind for a bit, and like spraying excess, like imagine a wind hitting a chalk drawing of this
Cool.
child, and they kind of like breathe very calmly. They're feeling better.
I'm proud of you, you know.
Why are you proud of me?
You're the bravest person I know. Well, besides Mr. Wart.
Mr. Wart's pretty brave.
He eats flies. You know how brave you gotta be for that kid?
That's so gross.
I know he's disgusting. Do you want to knock on the door, or should I?
I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can be brave. And they kind of like hop back to their feet. And they kind of walk over, and there's that really awkward. It's like, it's really just a plank of wood. Like it is the most literal walking of the plank, and they walk over and they knock on a door a little too loud in the way that a kid doesn't quite know how to knock on a door.
And I think without going too much into like heavy NPC work, I think who opens the door is someone who at one point asked Jericho to leap into a dream with them. Whether that was to move across the country, go to school, like plan a new path, and Jericho balked and did not. So it could be an ex, it could have just been a dear friend, but it was someone that Jericho at one point was on the same path with, and Jericho could not keep going with them, mostly out of fear, or sensing he just wouldn't be good enough for that next chapter.
And they just kind of like lock eyes. They see Circa and they smile wide, and then they lock eyes with Jericho, and there's like it's at first a sense of like shock, and then you kind of see their eyes shift into a betrayal, but then even more than that shifts into a kind of confusion, and then a sort of dawning realization. We see all of this just in their eyes over a very long moment.
And I think I'd love to roll a talk and a blunt with the kid helping me.
Yeah, that sounds great. That's 46.
Let's see how this goes. As he looks at her, them, like, you know, time changes a lot, and I think I let you down, but there's someone else that I can't let down anymore, and I'm trying to do better, and I also wanted to just make sure you were here. That is a great roll. That is 3 5s and a 2. I mean, could have been better, but 3 5s is nice.
Oh, okay. Let's throw some gas. Sometimes I know, so you gotta throw some gasoline on this fire here.
Like I just shot her boyfriend.
The complication is that she will never forgive you. But she gives us what we want and lets us on the boat. And it's a clear, like, you old idiot, get in here. But, like, you can see a glint in her eye that whatever bridge, whatever divide, whatever divide you might want to reach across beyond what is beyond immediate need is just a little bit too far for you to fully reach.
Well, and that's how dreams are. I mean, you can betray vows, you can betray bodies and trust, and those things you can sooner or later maybe forgive each other for. But if you betray the dream of someone who was ready to leap into forever in faith, and you're the one that pulls back, there's no going back from that.
She is like gets into the front seat of the boat. Circa kind of cross-legged sits in the passenger seat, and she just kind of mutters, "So he's still doing the monologuing thing? He talks a lot."
I've got a lot to say, and like a broken clock, at least twice a day, I make a wonderful point. Isn't that right, Mr. Wart?
Ribbit.
2 on 2, I get it. I get how this is going to be.
Do we want one more challenge, or do we just let this moment linger? I think I might just want to let this moment linger.
Yeah, I kind of love them. Yeah.
Yeah. like, I think there's a moment where like she kind of like spins in the chair, like, I can take you as far as Crescent. Any further than that, we're gonna have to refuel, and Lord knows that's gonna be a bit of an ordeal.
Well, why don't we just agree on Crescent out of just your sheer generosity? And if by the time we get there you decide you'd like to keep going with us, then we can have another conversation. But I don't want to, I don't want to put you out or take you from your home. And I'm just trying to get them somewhere safe.
You really have taken this to heart, huh?
It was about time I took something to heart, It was getting too late in the tooth to not be caring much anymore.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah, well, don't go telling anyone. I still need them to all think I'm dangerous.
If you needed them to think that, you were in for trouble a long time ago.
And if you're feeling this, maybe there's like a slight cinematically, like a montage over their travel that shows them like teaching Circa how to swim in like a little shallow area. Yep. Maybe parking the boat at dusk to go like let Mr. War eat some flies, and just kind of an innocent time passing while the world's collapsing in the periphery.
Yeah, we see like there's a shot of Circa kind of like swimming on their own for the first time as Mr. Wart kind of hops in and out of the water.
You're doing it. You're doing it.
And we see in the background there is like an office building that is like just fully burning. Like it is in the wake of like a burning office building. We're in this river having this moment, and like this woman, her name is Carlisle. Carlisle is like watching Circa, and I think while honoring that complication and like not able to reach across the pain and the hurt and the abandonment of a dream to you, is getting pulled towards Circa in the very same way that you were once upon a time.
And I think Jericho like notices it, like sees the same steps happening. It's like it's easy. It's contagious belief, especially here at the end of things. If we can't dream and create here, what's this whole thing been about?
If we got to stay here, and she kind of like doesn't shoot daggers, but kind of shoots something way worse in your direction. Like, like a real honest hurt with that sentence. That's like way worse if she meant to say it to hurt you, of like, if we got to stay here, at least we can be in the presence of people like them.
Well, I mean, I know I'm not probably who you imagined to be here with. I don't know if you ever thought you'd see me again, but I'm sorry. And I don't know what else to say but that. That was a long time ago. I've tried to become better and more brave, but I'm not going to feel bad for being afraid back then. I'd feel bad if I was afraid right now. I'm just sorry for what it did to you.
I can't accept that apology, but I can live with it. At least. And she kind of smiles begrudgingly in spite of herself. At least until Crescent or the nearest refueling stop.
I can accept that. Maybe someday you'll be able to forgive me in your dreams.
You're obnoxious. And she kind of like gets up and whistles to the kid. Circa, we gotta go. We got a long way to go before morning, and if we're traveling out on boat by day, well, there's a lot of frog hunters. And she kind of like shoots a glance at Jericho's direction. A lot of frog hunters are going to be looking for frogs, and we don't want Mr. Wart to be in danger.
And I think the fade out from that moment is us looking around, realizing there's like 6 frogs in the boat now.
Yep. We see some of these boats hopping, and we see them like hopping together and kind of like being around each other in a moment of stillness with these frogs. And that's game.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
That was
Hell yes.
That was wonderfully fun.
Oh, I'm so happy with where that went. That was that was everything to me. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you. And for turning me on to this system.
This is so good. I loved it when we played Badger and Coyote. I love the asymmetrical like flow of things. I love building different like sets of rules and going like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then like each of us kind of building challenges for the other was really satisfying. This was great.
I've got ideas for this system where it's the same person. It's just one when they're older and one when they're still young. And it's
that's really good is the thing.
Yeah,
that's really good.
There's some good stuff here.
There's some meat on these bones. This is great. Let me ask you, what was your favorite moment from play?
Ooh. I think the jumping over the rocks, that moment where, because you could feel the tension as an adult, where like there's danger everywhere. You know this isn't a safe place to play, but still knowing that like a dream needs to be nurtured and like youthfulness needs to be nurtured for the dream to survive. And I just love that was like at least for me playing Jericho, that was actually a moral struggle of is innocence or safety the priority right here. And I love that this game put me in that position. Yeah,
I love that it really like, you know, it's that thing of like we're pulling at this thread that like really having to make that choice of do we indulge? And I think the moment that really like stood out to me was the moment when we're on the boat and both of us kind of going like, I don't think I need another role. I don't think I need another challenge. I think I just want to watch these three characters interact as the beginnings of a family for a moment and start to like see that start to take shape, which was such an unexpected development that when it presented itself, I was like, I gotta just let this breathe and let this moment shine and thrive a little bit.
You know, nuclear family, iridescent kid and a couple frogs.
Yeah. That's it. That's what family is. This was so fantastic. Thank you so much for this. I'm beaming.
Oh, thank you for the invite. I will keep the system now on hand and will be recommending it because your skills are so good at this that I hadn't met anyone who had played this before.
I mean, and to be fair, I hadn't played it before either. This was a learning experience for both of us, and I'm glad that it went the way that it did. This was magnificent. Real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
Oh, mostly at the Heart is a Dungeon. I do show up in live streams from time to time, but I'm trying to not do that as much. So those other podcasts I'll be joining, but mostly at the Heart is a Dungeon. For personals under Rahrah or Rahrah Storytime will be about where you can find me everywhere.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again. This was a wonderful experience. And now I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show.
Hi, Future Jeff.
Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Rahrah for coming on to the show. That game was... wow. Wow. Beautiful. What else is there to say but beautiful? I feel like we got into such an amazing shared mind space and like shared emotional space. We both knew so thoroughly like what we were chasing after and like really, really found something emotional and powerful and joyful and sad and difficult. And I am so immensely grateful that we were able to make that happen. If you like stories like the one we just told, be sure to head to theheartisadungeon.card.co to listen to The Card is a Dungeon. I think it is, like I said, an amazing actual play that embodies what this art form can be. Also, be sure to head to psychound.itch.io to pick up your own copy of Shadow/Giant, and be sure to follow Rahrah on social media at rahrah.bsky.social. You can also find us on pretty much whichever social media you prefer at Party of One Pod or Jeff Stormer, depending. And if you enjoy the show and you want to support it, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Subscribe to our newsletter at buttondown.email/partyofonepodcast and join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. You can support us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. You can give us a nice iTunes review, shout us out to a friend, give us some love on social media. You can buy some Party of One merch at bit.ly/partyofonemerch. Or if you're looking for more great podcast content, you can check out All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world building podcast that I make with my best friend in the world, Aaron Catano Saez. We take a listener submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. You can also check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside. Both of those you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And, unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.